AI security and safety concerns. Sleeper agents embedded in large language models have graduated from theoretical concern to detectable threat, according to new research from Microsoft's AI Red team. Ram Shankar Sivakumar announced findings that demonstrate reliable detection of model poisoning, crucially, without requiring knowledge of the trigger mechanism and without retraining the compromised model. The research introduces what Kumar describes as a double attention triangle pattern that serves as a telltale signature of backdoored models. The significance here extends beyond academic interest. Backdoored language models represent a particularly insidious attack vector because they can behave normally during evaluation while waiting for specific trigger inputs to activate malicious behavior. Previous detection methods typically required either knowledge of the trigger, access to the poisoning process, or computationally expensive retraining. Microsoft's approach sidesteps these requirements, making it practical for organizations to audit models they've obtained from third parties or open repositories. Microsoft is releasing this work openly, a decision that reflects the AI safety community's consensus that defensive techniques benefit from widespread scrutiny and replication. Kumar explicitly invited practitioners and researchers working on red teaming, safety evaluations, and secure ML pipelines to provide feedback and partnership. The collaborative response from Microsoft colleagues, including Tanel Ford's observation about an intermediate attack vector involving model architecture graph modifications, suggests active internal engagement with the limitations and extensions of this approach. One commenter noted the research was a long time in the making, indicating this represents sustained investment rather than a reactive response to recent concerns about model supply chain security. Section: Multimodal AI Model Releases. NVIDIA continues its aggressive expansion into multimodal AI with the release of Nemotron ColEmbed V2, a family of late interaction embedding models designed for visual document retrieval. Available in 3B, 4B, and 8B parameter configurations, these models claim top positions on the Vitary V3 benchmark, a comprehensive evaluation suite for enterprise visual document retrieval. The 8B model ranks first overall, with the 4B and 3B variants claiming top spots in their respective weight classes. The technical approach extends the late interaction mechanism originally introduced for text retrieval into multimodal settings. Each query token embedding interacts with all document token embeddings via a maxsim operation that selects maximum similarity for each query token before summing these maxima into a final relevance score. This fine-grained interaction captures more detailed semantic relationships than single-vector approaches, though at the cost of increased storage requirements. The entire token embedding corpus must be retained for both textual and visual elements. NVIDIA positions this release explicitly for researchers prioritizing accuracy over efficiency, distinguishing it from their commercially oriented single-vector models released last month. The practical applications center on multimodal RAG systems where textual queries retrieve complex document images containing mixed text, tables, charts, and figures. The Nemotron family extends beyond retrieval into real-time speech processing with Nemotron Speech Streaming EN.6b, a cache-aware streaming ASR model engineered for low-latency voice agent applications. The architecture enables dynamic runtime flexibility. Users can select optimal operating points on the latency accuracy Pareto curve without retraining, choosing chunk sizes from 80 milliseconds to 1120 milliseconds depending on application requirements. Built-in punctuation and capitalization support addresses a common pain point in production speech-to-text deployments. On the generative side, Lightricks released LTX2, a 19 billion parameter D-based foundation model that generates synchronized video and audio within a single architecture. The model ships in multiple quantization formats including FP8 and NVFP4, plus a distilled 8-step variant for faster inference. Spatial and temporal upscalers enable multi-stage pipelines for higher resolution and frame rates. Meanwhile, CircleStone Labs and Comfy.org collaborated on Anima, a 2B parameter text-to-image model focused on anime and non-photorealistic content. Trained on several million anime images, with a knowledge cutoff of September 2025. The model uses Donburu-style tags, combined with natural language captions, demonstrating the continued specialization of image generation models toward specific aesthetic domains. AI development tools and frameworks. The labor-intensive bottleneck of creating publication-ready academic illustrations may finally have an automated solution. PaperBanana, an agentic framework presented at NeurIPS, orchestrates specialized agents to retrieve references, plan content and style, render images, and iteratively refine outputs through self-critique. The framework leverages state-of-the-art vision language models and image generation techniques to produce illustrations that consistently outperform baselines in faithfulness, conciseness, readability, and aesthetics. To rigorously evaluate the approach, the researchers introduce a benchmark comprising 292 test cases curated from NeurIPS 2025 publications, covering diverse research domains and illustration styles. The framework extends beyond static figures to high-quality slide generation, addressing another time sink in research workflows. Community response highlighted unexpected applicability. One commenter from a game studio noted similar requirements for creating structured illustrations at scale, suggesting the underlying architecture could transfer across domains. A different kind of transformation appears in a tutorial demonstrating how to convert Andrei Karpathy's character-level baby GPT into a discrete diffusion model for text generation. The implementation follows the set paper on discrete diffusion modeling by estimating data distribution ratios. Unlike continuous diffusion in images where noise addition and removal is straightforward, text presents fundamental challenges. Adding noise means flipping characters until text becomes gibberish, and teaching a model to reverse this discrete corruption is far less intuitive than continuous denoising. The tutorial provides a practical entry point for researchers exploring alternatives to autoregressive generation. Research from the IT University of Copenhagen proposes that small language models, aggressively fine-tuned and organized in agentic networks, can overcome the barriers limiting LLM adoption in commercial video games. The paper cites Tsai's finding that even ChatGPT-4, when tasked with playing the 1977 text adventure Zork with access to the game manual and few-shot examples, failed to successfully infer and utilize knowledge about the game world. This suggests naive LLM applications controlling NPCs in complex game situations will likely fail to maintain logical coherence. The proposed framework replaces monolithic LLM calls with task-specific fine-tuned SLMs, organized in directed acyclic graphs, where each model handles a single well-defined task rather than complex, multifaceted operations. Developer productivity and code quality. A provocative critique from bicameral AI argues that coding assistants are fundamentally misaligned with actual developer needs, focusing on product context, technical debt, and gap detection as underserved areas. The implication: current tools optimize for code generation speed, while ignoring the cognitive overhead of understanding existing systems, tracking accumulated shortcuts, and identifying missing functionality. The broader consequences of AI-assisted development receive sharper examination in Hackaday's analysis of how vibe coding threatens open-source ecosystems. The term describes development where LLM chatbots effectively write code while developers become customers with no requirement to understand generated output. According to cited research, this approach disrupts organic selection processes for libraries and tooling, replacing informed choices with whatever was most prevalent in the LLM's training data, creating self-reinforcing cycles that favor existing popular projects while newer alternatives struggle for visibility. The evidence against vibe coding's effectiveness is damning. Research on GitHub Copilot shows it offered no real benefits unless adding 41% more bugs is a measure of success. By 2025, experienced developers who tried these tools subsequently rejected them entirely. The threat to open source operates through reduced community engagement. Even for popular projects, website visits decrease as downloads and documentation consumption shift to LLM chatbot interactions. This reduces opportunities for promoting commercial plans, securing sponsorships, and building community forums, the economic foundations that sustain open-source development. JavaScript, Python, and web technology ecosystems are predicted to suffer first, given their larger training sets and more receptive audiences. Web technologies and data processing. Tadpole introduces a domain-specific language built specifically for web scraping, emphasizing composability through module imports from local files or remote repositories. The design philosophy abstracts away browser interaction complexity entirely, enabling declarative scraping code that the creators claim makes building scrapers easier than ever. The approach contrasts with general-purpose scraping libraries by providing language-level primitives tailored to common extraction patterns. Adjacent to web data processing, two Go utilities address developer workflow needs. Vanguard provides a minimal, security-focused initramfs generator optimized for LUKS plus LVM plus TPM2 full disk encryption setups, with features including automatic token detection, PIN support, and PCR lock policy binding. The tool reflects growing emphasis on measured boot security for Linux systems. Meanwhile, Ask translates natural language into shell commands using locally running AI models. No API keys, no cloud dependency, no data leaving the machine. The tool detects project context, Go, Node, Python, Rust, explains unfamiliar commands, flags dangerous operations like recursive deletion, and provides conversational shell interaction with command history context. Section Creative AI Applications. Music generation has reached the Open Web UI interface through integration with AceStep 1.5, enabled by community-developed tools. Users with 24 GB GPUs can run the full AceStep model alongside capable language models like GPT-OSS20B or Ministral, generating music interactively within the same chat interface used for text generation. The configuration demonstrates emerging patterns in local AI deployments. Model offloading from GPU after execution enables diverse capabilities within unified interfaces. One user describes running image editing, image generation via FluxCline, and music generation via AceStep alongside MCP servers, web search, YouTube summarization, and browser automation through Playwright. The claim that this setup achieves anything ChatGPT does and even more, since ChatGPT lacks music generation, reflects the growing capability parity between local and cloud deployments for users willing to invest in hardware. The community tools enabling this integration, developed by Harvey, have attracted attention for their breadth, covering multiple modalities within the Open Web UI ecosystem.